Hi there, this is Tyler Thurman, and I'm a transformative coach and change agent. Some of you might know me as Coach Ty from my online persona and profile. I just wanted to take a few minutes today to talk to you about relationships in the spirit of Valentine's Day, which as of right now is coming up tomorrow. And this is going to be the precursor to my written article, which will be posted today. And I just wanted to speak about the best of what I've learned in order to have a wonderful relationship and wonderful relationships. It doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic one, but I tend to focus on that just because it's most people's primary relationship that they tend to struggle with the most. And, that makes sense given that we're around them the most. So I'm going to share with you three keys that I actually learned from my mentor, Michael Neal, and they have just made a tremendous difference, a transformative difference in my personal relationships, as well as some of the people that I've worked with and taught these three keys. And the first one, it is understanding the role of thought in your experience of life. And I talk more about this in some of my other videos on the three principles and stress management and those kinds of things. You can reference those to learn in more detail. But essentially, when you understand that our thought creates our emotional experience of life, our feeling experience of life, not our partners, our family, our friends, not the people we come in contact with, the outside world, meaning the world outside of your head or my head, cannot and does not create our emotional feeling state. That can only ever come from a thought. We feel our thinking. And simply understanding that will, without question, transform your relationships. Because if you really understand this principle of thought, you know that your partner is not the cause of your low mood. Even when you're really caught up in a low mood, you can be suspicious enough, curious enough to know that even though it sure looks like them, it sure looks like what they're saying is causing my feeling, or what they're doing or their behavior is causing my emotions, my low moods. When you know that that's not how it works, it makes communicating and relating and connecting much easier. Because you don't then have to change them or attempt to change them or cope with their behavior or their words. Because you know it's not coming from them. It's coming from you. And no, it's not your fault. It's just how the system works. The system is designed so that we have a scary thought, we feel scared. We have a sad thought, we feel sad. We have an angry thought, we feel angry. And so on and so forth. So that's the first key, is understanding my thoughts create my personal experience of life. And that just gives you a more useful direction to look, because you know that when you're in a low mood, the relationship's not broken. You're just in a low mood. And the second you stop investing in whatever thinking is going on in your head, it'll pass, because the nature of thought is that it passes. Now, the second key builds on the first, and that's understanding and realizing where it is your well-being comes from. Now, similarly to the first one, a lot of people think their well-being comes from their circumstances. I got to have the right partner, the right job, the right house, the right bank balance, all that stuff in order to have high levels of well-being. Now, that's a myth. It's not true. And it's kind of nice to know that that's not true, because circumstances are difficult to get exactly the way we want. And we don't always have direct control over manipulating the outside world, because there's a lot of moving pieces to that. Other people, natural disasters, circumstances, things happen. Life happens. The good news is your well-being is your nature. In other words, you were born happy. A quick look into a child's eyes, and you'll see that when their physical needs are met and they're tended to, they're pretty content. They're engaged, they're creative, they're blissed out. And that is you. That's who you really are. Minus your miserable thinking. And so when you begin to see that you don't need your partner to make you happy or fill you up with love, because that's not where it comes from. It doesn't come from outside you, but it doesn't even come from inside you. It is you. Again, minus your personal thinking. And the second you let it settle down, just like snow globe. Most people try to get more well-being by shaking the snow globe up. But to get those particles to settle, you gotta just let gravity do its thing. Well, the nice thing is your mind works the same way. And those thoughts will settle when you allow them to settle. We can sure get in there and ruminate on them and invest in them and make them important and act on them. But if you just let them go, your natural well-being, your innate happiness, joy, connection, intimacy, it will bubble right back up to the surface. And to mix metaphors there. And that just takes the stress, the pressure right off of your relationship and your partner, because you're no longer in it to get love, to get happiness. It's no longer their responsibility. Imagine the gift that is and would be to your partner to really understand your well-being, not their responsibility. It's not even your responsibility, it's just who you are. In turn, it's wonderful to know that that's their nature too. Underneath their personal thinking is that love, that compassion, that connection. And when they're upset or cranky or frustrated and they think it's you, you know that it's just their thought. And you don't have to take it personally, because they're just caught up. And the second that they let their thoughts settle, they'll return to that love and connection. And it'll be natural. And so that's the second key that really helps people, in my experience, and has made a huge difference in my relationships. And the third, final key is simply taking a look at the purpose of your relationship. Now this is not true. It's just it's made up. Whatever reason you're in relationship, it's relatively arbitrary because it's all based on our thoughts. And so I want to suggest to you, I want to throw out an idea, and this is just an idea. It's my favorite reason for being in relationship. And it's as simple as you enjoy their company. That's it. That's the reason you're together. That's the reason I'm in my most important relationships. And the reason it's that simple is because all that other stuff falls away with the first two keys, which, when you understand that your experience is being created from thought, it's not coming from them, even when it looks like it is. I promise it's not. And your well-being doesn't come from them, which is good news because it's no longer their responsibility. Then it just becomes simple. All there is left to do is connect and enjoy each other's company and love one another and show each other affection. And those things flow naturally when there's not all this other stuff. There's not all these ideas you have about what a relationship means and how it's supposed to be. You're just there to enjoy each other's company. So I just want to throw that out there as a possibility. And if you really take on and get curious about understanding those three keys to having a wonderful relationship, I can pretty much guarantee when you see it for yourself, which sometimes it takes some time, sometimes it's just like that, but when you see it for yourself and you understand where your experience comes from, where your well-being comes from, and why you're in relationship, your relationship will transform. And the awesome news about that is it's all up to you. None of that is on your partner. Sure, it might make a difference if you share that with each other and you both share an understanding, but in my experience, to get the ball rolling, it just takes one. Just takes one. All right. Have a wonderful Valentine's Day. If you're interested in exploring my work any further, please check out my website, www.coachtylerthurman.blogspot.com, or you can always call my office at 503-389-3778, and I'd be happy to offer you a complimentary 1-hour phone coaching session. All right. Have a wonderful day, guys.